Hey guys, Zach here, back with a Vanguard video. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that I love Vanguard. I especially loved it when it first came out. Seeing these two decks kind of gives me the warm fuzzy feelings. When Vanguard originally came out in English, which was very short after it came out in Japanese, I believe, me and a friend both got each of one of the decks, and we both split a booster box. He got all the Royal Paladin stuff, I got all the Kagero stuff. And it was super fun. It was new. There'd never been a card game like that before, really. The anime was new. It was all just awesome. And this was Bushiroad's real, first big success. I want to say White Schwartz has always been, their main game, but Vanguard definitely exploded in popularity. So, cut to, 5-6 years later now? And they are completely rebooting Vanguard. They're redoing the anime, they're redoing the card game. Basically, the anime is now going to follow the original manga, which was, I believe, actually made by one of the original designers of the card game in the whole concept. And the manga was very, very similar in the beginning to the anime, and then it kind of wildly diverted off, I believe. I didn't read too much into it back then. But basically, they're rebooting it. And a lot of it's the same. Obviously, Aichi has Royal Paladin, Kai has Kagero, the same units. It's basically exactly the same, except they have reworked a bunch of stuff in the game and made it all for the better, in my opinion. At the moment, there are no more G cards, the extra deck cards that went off to the side that were, no matter what, ridiculously expensive, because you'd only needed 8 and then 16 of them, which was another dumb thing. Anyways, no G cards, no legioning, no writing, no break writing, none of that. This is back to basically just simple original Vanguard, except it's got to be different. They have a new thing called the Imaginary Gift, which you can kind of see on Draconic Overlord there. It's a pretty silly name, but it makes sense in the storyline, I guess. The whole point of the game originally was that you imagined all these crazy epic battles and they didn't actually happen. It was just about these kids going to a store and playing a card game, and it was really nice. There wasn't we have to defeat the main horrible villain in this children's card game, otherwise the world explodes. All these crazy battles happened in their minds and with their imagination, and that was really cool. And then eventually all the crazy stuff did happen. Then there was horrible maniacal villains who had to defeat in children's card games or the world exploded. It kind of went off the rails. But hopefully they'll tone it down with this reboot. Anyways, all that out of the way, we have the new reboot decks, essentially. So we have, just like the first two decks in the beginning, Royal Paladin and Kagero, with Aichi and Kai. They're $20, just like every Vanguard product usually is. The cards are, of course, beautiful, because they always are. I love the foil on them. And they're doing something different with these trial decks now. You don't have to buy 4 of them, basically, to have all the cards. Somewhere, here we go. The deck list is actually on the back instead of on the bottom now. You can see on the back there that you have 4 of pretty much everything. 3 of some cards, but you don't really need 4 of those cards. And you also have 4 perfect guards in these decks, which is insane. This was unheard of when the game first came out. Perfect guards were in the first set, I think, but you had to buy lots of stuff to get them. So you don't need to go buy, you really don't even need to buy 2 of these decks anymore. You just buy 1 deck and you have everything you need. It's so much better. But on the back here you can see what is Cardfight Vanguard. This is always on the back. You are a leader, Vanguard on the planet Cray, units of the Dragon's Knights, blah 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 blah. You can see inside we have 50 cards with 15 different illustrations. You have 3 gift markers, 2 normal gifts and 1 unique gift. We'll explain those in a little bit, that's the new system. Playmat and first guide for the rules and all that. And we'll look at the back of Draconic Overlord here. God, that card is so pretty. And yeah, you can see on the back of him, just like the other one, 4 of everything you need. 3 of some cards that you don't need 4 of, basically. Alright, so let's start with number 1. Start with Aichi here. Okay, and my camera just died, so I have to reshoot all of this. So, inside, you get the deck and your play guide and play mat. So we'll get those out of the way. And these cards are freaking gorgeous. We'll look at those in a second, really quick. Here is the first guide instruction manual thing, version 5.02. Okay. Which basically just gives you the rundown on how to play the game. Basically, nothing has changed except for a couple of little things. The G assist thing is still in the game, I believe, but you don't have to discard cards from your G zone anymore. I believe. We'll see if it's in here somewhere. Also, the mulligan roll at the beginning is different now, too. Instead of shuffling back in your hand and then drawing, you actually set the cards aside and then draw and then shuffle, so you don't draw those same cards, which is how it should have been in the beginning. And the other main thing is you don't have to guard from the same grade as your Vanguard now, or lower, so you can guard with any card. And there's no more stand triggers. Now it's a front trigger. We'll take a look at that in a little bit, too. Other than that, I think that's about it. They've also changed all the terminology on the cards, which is 100 million times better. We'll take a look at that in a second, too. And really quick, the playmat has the poster on the back, like they normally do. Got little Aichi there, and it has all the stuff on how to play your deck, tips on how to use the new gift system, what your like normal phases of play should look like, and a little booster pack for the first set over there, the second deck, and all the stuff on the bottom. And the actual playmat is pretty much exactly the same. There's still a little spot up here where you put your gifts, not your G cards. And then, yeah, that's about it. So we'll set this back here. Okay, so I'm super excited to look at these cards. So here we have Mr. Blaster Blade, and he looks freaking gorgeous, like they always do. So you can see he actually has a different effect than normal. Now his effect is if you have 4 more rear guards, he gets +1 critical. That's really cool. And then Vanguard or rear guard. Look at how this is worded now. Look at how much better this is and not backwards and stupid that it used to be. When placed, cost. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row, retire it. So it's not when placed, do the cost, then you have to go back to the beginning and see what the cost is. I don't know why they ever did that. It was stupid. Now the cost is right where it needs to be. And they have different icons for the things too. So now it says Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1. So you don't have to like squint at the little icons and see is that arrow going into the deck or out of the deck. Now you can just see it's Counter Blast, Soul Blast. Super easy. The arrow goes out too instead of going in, so you know you blast, put them away. It's so much better. Another new thing is the shields on the side aren't all the same anymore. They can actually be different numbers now. It's not like all grade 2s are 5,000, all grade 1s are 10,000. They're all different now, which is really cool. So that's your basically the manga art. You get 1 of those, then you get 3 of the other art, and 1 of them is foil, as you can see. All the same cards, different art, and God, that is gorgeous. And then you have 2 non-foil versions of that. And then you have the grade 3 Alfred Early. This was originally one of the manga-only cards. I think it eventually got released in the actual game. But this lets us look at Force, which is the new system in this game. So basically, all of the clans fall in one of 3 categories now. Either Force, Excel, or Protect. Both of these are in the Force gift category, basically. And you can see all the grade 3s, pretty much as far as I know, all the grade 3s have that little Force icon. So that means when you ride into your grade 3, not when you ride on top of it, just when you ride into Alfred Early, you get a Force gift, which is these guys back here. Oh, that's kind of annoying. They have the regular card backs, so just like how in the G series, we don't get the cool different card backs like it's in the anime. They just made them the same again. That's annoying. Anyways, these are all the same. One of them just has a picture of Blaster Blade on it, just as a special thing. This is your Force Imaginary Gift. So now when you ride into the grade 3, you get to take one of these from your gift pile and put it on any Vanguard or Rearguard circle, and on your turn, that unit will get 10,000 power on your turn. And these can stack, so you can put all 3 of these on your Vanguard circle, and on your turn, your Vanguard will have 30,000 more power to attack with, but it's only on your turn. So that is the concept of the entire gift system. You get a marker, and you get to basically modify your playing field, not necessarily the cards. So it's a really, really cool concept, and I'm really curious and excited to see where they go with future gifts, if there's going to be different gifts. But the Blaster Blade one looks really cool. And I think one of the promo things is like a signed version of this, or a holo version or something. But it does look really cool. So you only get 3 in the box, because you probably won't need any more than that, but you can have as many as you want. But you also can't mix clans, as far as I'm aware, anymore, and you definitely can't mix gift icons. So you can't have these and the XL ones, for instance. You can only have one gift icon, so Force, for instance. So that's cool. So that is how the gifts work. So we can look at Alfred now. So when placed, the cost is Counterblast 1. Call up to 1 Blaster Blade from your hand or soul to Rearguard, and it gets 10,000 power in the turn. And if you call, draw a card. Look at how simple it is to read. Thank God Bushy wrote. I don't know who they fired and /hired to redo all of the text, but they need a giant promotion, because I hated the way Vanguard cards were worded before, and this is so much better. So there's Alfred early. You can see he has 13,000 power now too, so everything's kind of up in the air now as far as power and effects go. This is your other grade 3 Star Drive Dragon. When it attacks Vanguard, if there's 3 or more rear guards, it gets 5,000 power. It also has the Force icon. There's 4 of those. Knight of Silence Gallatin. So like I said, a lot of these cards are the same as before, but they have new art, basically, to represent the manga stuff. And you can see, like I was saying before, Blaster Blade only has a 5,000 shield, but Gallatin has 10,000. So the shields can be whatever number they want now, basically, which is really cool. Sage of the Arts Jorin? When it attacks Vanguard, if you have 3 or more rear guards, it gets 5,000 power. That's kind of their whole thing, is to have a full field. Wingull! He's not your starter anymore. For the manga, he had a different starter, so that's in this deck. But Wingull's still there, and he still hosts Blaster Blade. During your turn, all your Blaster Blade in the same column as this get 5,000 power. It's kind of weird wording, all the Blaster Blades in the same column. So, would that mean your opponent's Blaster Blades would also get 5,000 power? Oh no, all your Blaster Blade, yeah, so he's still there, he still helps him out. Knight Squire Allen, when placed, you counterblast 1 and call up to 1 card with greater or less than or equal to your Vanguard from your hand Rearguard. If you call, draw a card and it gets 3,000 power. That's pretty good, actually. Then we have our Perfect Guards. We get 4 of them, which is so good. I'm glad they started doing this, because you basically, if you're not playing with 4 Perfect Guards, you're not playing with the full deck, basically. So I'm glad they're actually in the trial decks now. But they're just like always. You play it from your hand and discard a card, and you just cannot get hit for the whole battle. So there's 4 of those. Spice Falcon. Alright. You can counterblast 1 and rest this unit, and 2 of your rear guards get 5,000 power. So instead of boosting 1, you can boost 2, I guess. That's kind of how that works. There he is. Gleim is your starter Vanguard. So this is what you start the game with. And when you ride onto him, you draw a card, which is really good. So there's him. Then we have our triggers. So Epona is still your critical trigger like it's always been, but now it's 15,000 power, or shield. So that's different. And then Flogel is a second critical trigger. That's interesting. I didn't notice that. So you have 8 critical triggers in this deck. So that's cool. Margle is your draw trigger, only 5,000 shield, so it's a little balanced, but still gives 10,000 power when you draw into it. And then Elaine is still your heal trigger. 2,000 shield on that. That's really cool. But as you can see, there is no front trigger in these decks. I think they're only in the booster packs. So front triggers, when you reveal them, all your front row rear guard units get 10,000 power on your turn. Or on the turn, basically. So it's like a trigger that just hits everybody. And then, oh, we have a shiny Alfred early too, I guess. I didn't realize that was in there. And then a shiny Knight Squire Allen. So that rounds out the 4 that we need, because there's only 3 in there earlier. Super cool. Super, super cool. I forgot I didn't buy sleeves. I need to go get sleeves for all these. But there is the Royal Paladin deck. I'm actually excited to play with this, because it's not... It's fun. Like, they're very simple, straightforward decks. I can't wait. Okay. So, put him off to the side. Alright, so I got the tape cut off, and let's look at the deck I actually am really excited about. The Kagero deck. So, I'm assuming this is all the same in here. It just has Kai in the front instead. But we'll look at his little poster thing real quick. Yep, that's Kai, who is, like, hilariously way nicer in the new anime so far. How to use your gifts, your ace cards and all that. Your flow for the deck. And your booster pack and other deck on the side. Alright. I just want to get into this deck. Because these are the ones that are going to hit home the most for me, because these are the cards I always played with. Like, even, like, when the G cards came out, I was still playing with my original Kagero trial deck cards, pretty much. Like, somewhere in my deck, there were still those cards somewhere, so this is really cool for me to see how they've changed, basically. Alright, so we have Mr. Dragonic Overlord, of course. His effect is, as far as I can tell, the same. The cost may be different. But once a turn, you can counterblast, or you can soul blast one, and it gets 10,000 power. And then also once per turn, when the attack hits, you can counterblast one and discard 2 cards, stand it up, and it gets drive -1, just like it always did. So it stands back up and attacks again. Oh, look at that! Look at how pretty that is. Oh man, I love Kagero art. Alright, let's get this all out of the way. Okay, yeah, you'll just sit there. Okay. Then we have Crested Dragon, who is the other grade 3 in here. When it attacks Vanguard, if your opponent has 3 or less rear guards, it gets 5,000 power to the end of turn. So basically the exact opposite of Royal Paladin. It's also force, just like Overlord. Dragon Armored Knight. This was another manga one, if I remember. Same thing, attacks Vanguard, 3 or less rear guards, 5,000 power. Dragon Knight Nahalem. He was one of the main guys. When placed, you counterblast 1, choose your opponent's rear guard in the back row and tire it, and it gets 5,000 power. That's new. That's really cool. I like that. Embodiment of Shield Lam. Alright, that's new. Guard Griffin. That was always my favorite perfect guard, because it just looks the coolest to me. So there's your perfect guard. Dragon Mutton Gojo. He's still there. When it boosts, if you have 3 or more rear guards, if you have more rear guards than your opponent, boost unit gets 3,000 power, so it boosts for 11,000 instead. That's pretty nice. Embodiment of Armor Bar. He's back, and he has an effect now. When placed, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less in the same column as this unit, retire it, and if you have more rear guards than your opponent, it gets 5,000 power. I just can't help but love how fast I can read these effects now and not have to zigzag back and forth in the text. It makes me so happy. Dragon Knight Burge? He looks like he's not... He definitely stands out, I think, in the demons and dragons. If your opponent has 4 more rear guards, counterblast 1 and put this unit into your soul. Choose one opponent rear guard, retire it, and then one of your rear guard units gets 1,000 power. Okay, that's pretty cool. Lizard Runner Undo. He's still our starting Vanguard. But when you ride him, you draw a card. I don't know if Forerunner is going to be a thing in this new format where you ride it and pull it out and do something else with it. We'll see. So Tar is your critical trigger like always. And a Rakshasa is the second critical trigger. Red Gem Carbuncle is the draw trigger. Genjo, I believe that was her name, the original heal trigger, right? And then the shiny cards, we got Dragon Armor Knight again. And a really pretty embodiment of Armor Bar. And then we have his 3 gift markers, which are exactly the same, except this one has a picture of... That one had a picture of Draconic Overlord on it. Very nice. Alright, so I think that about wraps up this video. I'm definitely going to have some gameplay of these 2 decks fighting each other sometime soon. You know how that works with me. I'll probably get some of the packs when they come out. I'm not going to buy a box or anything. I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to get crazy hard into this new reboot, but I definitely want to play. So if you guys want to see more videos, let me know. If there's specific things you want to see me do with Vanguard, let me know as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see my old Vanguard videos, there's a playlist down there to see us playing. And that's it. Thanks guys for watching. Have a nice day. See you later.